going on?
What's up, man?
Man, I'm blessed, man. It's been busy, but I'm blessed.
Well, that's what happens when you move to the metro, man. That's what happens when
Hey,
you move to the metro.
so I've heard. So I've heard.
It's probably hot as hell. Is it? How's this summer been weather-wise?
Weather-wise, it's been good. It's been good. It's humid out here. It's humid out here. It's my first time in South Carolina, and man, it's humid. It is humid.
Well, we're gonna talk about all that, man.
Yeah,
Lost
yeah.
Letterman tonight. We got our main man, Josh, one of our favorites now. From now on, Coach Josh Crutchfield from Benedict College. We're gonna talk a little bit Benedict hoops, but most importantly, we're gonna kind of get to know Coach and his background and let him kind of tell a little bit about himself. But obviously, we're going to talk some Benedict College hoops. But Coach, man, most importantly, thanks for coming on tonight and spending some time with the Lost Letterman.
Now, I really appreciate you even just giving me the opportunity, man. I really want to get plugged into Columbia and South Carolina and the surrounding states. So, like, just having this type of opportunity and just get to know you more, it's a blessing. It really is just a blessing.
Well, if you want to be plugged in, there's only one place you need to be, and that's with the Lost Letterman. So you're in the right place.
I've heard it. I've heard it. I've heard.
So
I've heard.
with that being said, man, I'm looking at your kind of your bio.
Yes.
And I know you played ball in Georgia, if I'm not mistaken. But where are you from?
I played Division III basketball in Boston.
And so you're from the B. And Gordon College is in the B.
It's in Boston. It's in the North Shore, in Massachusetts.
Okay.
About 45 minutes north of Boston. I'm not from there. I'm originally from Orange County, California. So I made the big jump at 18 years old. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shout out to Franklin Pierce. Shout out to Rentham. Shout out to Roxbury. Shout out to
yeah, they're all up there.
I love all those spots in the man.
Yeah.
Shout out to Clam Chowder. I love So
Yeah.
So man, let's not even talk about Boston right now, but talk about growing up in Orange County, because Orange County is a totally different vibe.
Oh, it's completely different.
The East Coast, and definitely a different vibe from Benedict. So talk a little bit about Orange County and where you're from and hooping in Orange County and some of the hoopers. And obviously Venice and all that. It's like they've got a whole different hoop scene out there.
It's a whole different hoop scene in California. Yeah.
And much respect to I had a brain freeze. The coach at USC who just passed away from a big personality. I'll think about it later. But talk a little bit about growing up in Orange County and some of the players that you played against, but also your own matriculation as you grew up on the West Side.
I've played against some dudes, and just off the top of my head, Stanley Johnson, Marcus Levette. I played against some dudes in high school. I was a freshman on varsity. I thought I was good, and I'm like a deer in headlights. Like if I played for a very well-known head coach, Tom Lewis, a modern day legend. I played for him in high school, and he put us in. We didn't duck no smoke. We played everybody. We played absolutely everybody, no matter who you were. If you gave us the opportunity, we gonna play you. And so being around that really instilled in me. You can't duck no smoke. You got to rise to the occasion every time. I mean, if you get blasted, you still got to wake up the next day and go get back to work. But even before that, I was part of an organization under Steve Williams, Team Nico's Basketball Academy. And that is really where I played organized basketball. I started organized basketball going to my 7th grade year. I lost my father when I was in 6th grade. And so I got into basketball, and Steve Williams took me under his wing, and he's been my mentor ever since. And because of him, I saw what basketball can do for you, not what you can do for basketball at the same time. You know what I mean? So I grew up in Orange County. I had a phenomenal high school career. It was very fun. And then I was blessed with the opportunity to go play Division III basketball. And so I made the big jump from Orange County to Boston, and that was a culture shock.
So let me back you up, Coach, and much respect to my wife too. She's from Cali, and she went to school on the East Coast. And to me, as a 16, 17-year-old, I couldn't even man, that's a big thing to do for me, like at that age.
Yeah.
So when you were growing up hooping, and you got Toby Bailey, so many cats from out that way, man. On the West Side.
Yeah.
What was your ultimate goal And who were some of the schools that you were trying to get to as
Mm.
you were matriculating as a young player?
As a young player, I just wanted an opportunity. Obviously everybody wants a scholarship. Everybody wants to play for the big time name schools. I just wanted an opportunity to hoop. I just knew basketball was a passion of mine, and I wanted to play as long as I could. And I didn't really care where I went. It could have been in Iowa, it could have been in Idaho, it could have been in Florida, it could have been in Georgia. If there was an opportunity for me to play basketball, I was gonna go. And go ahead.
No. You finished. I
Yeah,
apologize.
and so I visited a few schools. And one was in Wisconsin, one was in downtown Boston, and then the other one was in the North Shore, which is Gordon College. So I took a couple visits, and like I said, like I just wanted an opportunity. I wanted to play for a coach that is just gonna help me become a man at the end of the day, because I knew I couldn't, if I stayed in Orange County, I was gonna hit a certain ceiling and I was gonna cap out. I wanted to explore every opportunity because this is the best time to do it. When you're 18 to 22, that's the best time to go explore. You have no kids, you have no wife, your responsibility is your own growth. And so I took that as an opportunity as, you know what? If even if I go to Boston and I don't like it, I can always come back to California. It's going to be a lot harder in 10 to 15 years when I have more responsibilities to, like, okay, I want to go live in a different city because now I got a wife I got to think about. I got kids I got to think about. I got bills I got to think about. As an 18-year-old kid, it's just you. You just pack a suitcase and you go. And so, credit to my mom for instilling that independence in me. Um, oh yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you know what, man? And I have to ask you. I'm a I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say, but I'm gonna ask you a question after that.
Yeah.
It says a lot about your mother and you. You were mature as a 16, 17 year. I don't know if I could have gone across the country at that age.
Mhm.
You are a very mature person, especially for your mother to instill that in you, saying, man, and Orange County, man, that's one of the best counties in the country.
It's a beautiful place. A
most,
beautiful
most
place.
people trying to get to Orange County, not leave
Absolutely.
Orange County.
Yeah, yeah.
So
People look at me crazy. People looked at
yeah,
me crazy.
it says a lot about you and your surroundings, your inner circle at that time. It says, man, I need to continue to grow. I need to
Yeah,
continue to grow. So with that being said, I got to ask you a question about
yeah,
Cali and
yeah,
LA,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
LA vibe. And it's a different LA is a different thing, man. And I,
It
and I
is.
ain't even talking about basketball. It's just a different vibe.
Absolutely.
It's different when you get off that airplane. It's different. I know Orange County is kind of near LA, but like Crenshaw and all that is that more inner city LA? But tell me about the difference between like
Yeah. So
Crenshaw, South Central, and Orange County.
so LA is, I'll put up here. LA is right here. Orange
Mhm.
County is about an hour south, and then
Oh,
San Diego
okay,
an hour south of Orange County.
okay,
And
okay.
so you can get from LA, no traffic, mind you, no traffic.
Traffic is terrible. Oh my
Right? From
gosh.
LA to San Diego, no traffic, 2 hours. But with traffic,
Right.
you're gonna bump that up a time. And so
Yeah.
being in Orange County and playing basketball in Orange County, I was in a hot spot because I can go to hour north and get some real smoke. I can go down south
Right.
and go to San Diego and get a whole different vibe and get some real smoke
Right.
too. I can go to Arizona, that's a couple hours away, drive there. I used to have tournaments there. Some real smoke. Go to Vegas for the 548, real smoke. So
Yeah.
being in Orange County and being able to drive to these different locations and still technically be in the same state or another state, oh, it's it was a hot commodity. It was on and popping. No matter where you played, it was on. It was good to go.
Now let me ask you this, and Coach Crutchfield, we got to keep it. We kind of keep it real on Lost Letterman. That's what we do. Um, so you're used to playing, like you talked about Stanley Johnson, a lot of other cats that
Yeah,
you probably played against in high school,
yeah,
and you were aware of at high school.
yeah,
Like, and I'll be honest, like I didn't go to a big time school. The
mm,
school I went to, I never had dreams of playing at.
yeah.
Like it just, it is what it is. We all dream of playing at Syracuse, St. John's, or Duke, all those schools.
Absolutely.
Um, you ended up playing D3.
Yes.
What was your mindset when you got to, or when you actually were recruited by Gordon and actually going to Gordon? What was your mindset of like, man, I just need an opportunity, or what was your mindset in terms of being a college player at that time?
You know what's funny is when I was getting recruited and why I chose Gordon for more of the off the court reasons more than anything on the court.
Man, you're mature.
And I did honestly though, I really did because granted I played for Coach Todd Murphy, He played NBA, UC Irvine, played at UC Irvine. Phenomenal basketball mind. And so
Mm,
the basketball point, I was not really stressed about because I knew I was going to get challenged and pushed on the court. It was
mm,
okay. I'm in a whole different environment. How can I become a man? That was a big question
mm,
mark. How can I become a man in the next 4 years? Because in Orange
mm.
County, I was comfortable. Everybody knew who I was. I was comfortable there. But being in a completely different space, what can Gordon offer me off the court? And so during my 4 years, I was part of student government. I was part of the admissions team. I was able to plug into different aspects of the campus and learn how to make a code call at 19 years old to a bunch of admissions families. I learned that, and as you can tell,
Yeah,
it made my life so much easier when I became a coach. But I was able to learn all these different skills each year that I was in college off the court. Basketball, I already knew I was getting challenged, but off the court is the main reason why I made that big jump. Honestly.
man. Hey, man, you are mature, or you probably are mature, but back then you were a mature
Oh, no, no, I was still
young
young.
man.
I was still young. I still made a lot of mistakes.
I know, I know, I
Yeah,
know, I
yeah,
know.
yeah.
But with that being said, man, talk a little bit about your time in the being in Boston
Mhm.
and just the transition because the Boston vibe, Boston is kind of different from any other spot in
Yeah,
shout out to Martha's Vineyard and all those places up that way, man. But
yeah.
Boston is different than New York. It's different than any place, and obviously it's different than Cali. Cali. Talk a little bit about the transition socially that you might have had uh, going to Boston, but also talk about the basketball scene
Yeah.
when you once you got plugged in
Yeah.
at Gordon.
Well, first I had to go buy a winter coat. That was my first thing because I had to walk backwards to class, and so just being able to dress differently and knowing, okay, hey, you can't just walk into a gym in 15 minutes you're ready to play. It's like no, you got to walk through snow. You got to walk in the cold. You got to put layers on. Walk 10, 15 minutes to the gym. Take all that stuff off, and then mentally get ready for practice. And so my first year, I battled. I was like, you know what? I used to just get in the gym and just run and be good. But like I learned very, very fast, I had to take care of my body. I had to get in, I had to get in, I had to get to practice 45 minutes to an hour beforehand if I wasn't in class. I had to mentally prepare my body to push myself to a different level because college, people think it's sweet. You get to college no matter what level, that condition will catch up to you. And our freshmen, I learned that now. But I learned that the hard way.
Those dunks start turning into layups in college.
What? That wide open layup that you thought you used to have, it used to get now it's getting picked off the glass. Yeah.
So man,
Yeah.
it looks like from what I can ascertain from your stats, man, it looked like you had a nice 3-point shooting stroke.
You
So
know,
what was some of your biggest attributes in college, but also even more importantly, what were some of the biggest things that you took from your experiences there at Gordon?
I played with phenomenal guys, and that made my life so much easier as a point guard. I realized I didn't have to score double digits to play. If I could hit a wide open catch and shoot three, I could defend my position, and I could communicate as a point guard. I was going to get on the court. I could
Right.
average 2 points a game, and I did my first couple of years. I could average 2 points a game, but I played.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, why is Crutch playing? Why is Crutch playing? Why is Crutch? I made the wide open shot, any catch and shoot. I defended my butt off. I communicated and I held guys accountable. And so I played with guys like Eric Demers and Garrison Duvervier, who were all conference guys. Eric averaged 33 points per game his senior year, and I was his point guard.
Mm.
Led the country in scoring. And all I had to do was find him his spots. And so I learned if I could find Eric and I could find Garrison and I could put them in positions to score easily, I can get on the court. I learned that very fast. And
It's it's crazy. We got Coach Josh Crutchfield from Benedict College with us now. Also, it's crazy how basketball when you're playing it goes so quickly,
oh,
and after you finish, the things that you learn and you're like, man, I wish I would have just figured that out while I
mhm,
was there.
mhm,
You just touched on it, like the score, especially as a point guard. The scoring is not, especially in college, maybe in high school a little bit more, but in college when everybody's a lot better, the scoring isn't as important. It's just figuring out how to manage a team,
mhm.
and it feels like you understood how to manage a team a lot quicker than most other PGs would.
And that's just credit to, like, how I was raised and the basketball minds that formed me, right?
Mhm.
Is they taught me that you do not have to be the best scorer on the court to see playing time. If you can guard your butt off and you can guard any position, the coach will find a way. The coach will find a way to put you on the floor, whether that's for
Right.
5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever. You will find time on the floor. So I was instilled in that from my AU days, being in seventh and eighth grade, to be the best defender on the court, to communicate, to yell, to communicate. If you ask my players now, they're gonna be like, Coach Crutchfield he's annoying. He talked too much. I learned that in seventh grade, and so that translated all the way to college. And when I got to college, when coach is telling me to communicate, I'm like, this is easy. This is all you're asking. All I got to do is open my mouth and guard hard for 35 seconds. Come on, let's get to it. So yeah, yeah, yeah. That's something that I took pride in. I took a lot of pride in that.
And you watch and not to speed up, but you watch a lot of basketball now, and
Mhm.
I understand how it and just speaking from a guard's perspective, do you understand how some guys can get too enamored with trying to score the ball too
Absolutely,
much as a high
absolutely,
school player, as opposed to trying to play the way that you're talking about? But it's natural because when you're younger, you think that the scoring you put a higher threshold, or you put
absolutely.
more emphasis on your scoring. But can you see that sometimes in younger
Yeah,
guards where they put so much emphasis on scoring, and as a college coach, like, man, that's not going to translate to the next level. You have to,
absolutely,
and you look for other things.
absolutely. Yeah, I think it's very, very prevalent, and a big reason for that is this right here: social media.
And me.
Not even you. You do a great job of highlighting player strengths. You do a great job with that on your page, right?
Yeah.
But I'm talking about people get enamored by highlights that they realize I can't defend anybody. I can't
Right.
rebound very well. I can't pass very well. Do you know how nice it is and relieving it is for myself to go into a tournament or watch somebody on highlights, and I watch a game film and I see them making an advanced pass instead of dribbling 5 times and trying to go around somebody. That's impressive, because now you're like, I don't care about me. I'm making an advanced pass because that speeds up the game, and that puts more pressure on the defense. That's
Right.
impressive. Or I'm gonna go high point the ball when I go get a rebound instead of letting it fall in my hands. A biggest thing that I've learned here at Benedict is how tough are these guys really? If they get bumped by a screen, do they flop? Do they fall down? Or do they fight through it? Do they blow up the screen? Oh, I'm gonna get through your hip. You gonna feel me if you want to set a screen on me. And so seeing these types of things are so important. It's like, yes, the stats, that's the first initial layer. But what about the second layer? What about the third layer? What about when we dissect your game? Do you guard the ball screens very well? What is your defensive schemes? If you're a 4 or 5 man, do you hard hedge, or do you I'm gonna stay back and drop? I don't want that. I don't want to do that. I don't want
And,
that.
and back in the day, Lost Letter was all about switch. So,
Come on. Come on.
so, with that being said, and I don't want to speed you up, man, but I know you were at Greenville, but talk about how you got to SMU.
So it's a crazy story. And I got to SMU because off of a Twitter message. So I'm gonna share a little bit more
So you
about
got to
that.
put that phone up again. You got to put that phone up again.
It's a blessing. It's a blessing and a curse. You just got to know how to use it. You just got to know how to use it.
Uh-huh.
So I was a graduate assistant at Greenville University, and I had a great 2 years under George Barber, who had a phenomenal, crazy system. If you've never heard of the system, you
And
got to
and
look it
that's
up.
in Illinois, correct?
In Southern Illinois, yes.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
So I
Okay.
was part of his staff for 2 years. But going to my second year, I saw a flyer for graduate assistants to join Top Connect, which is a leadership group. It's like an internship, pretty much. And the person that was leading it was Rob Eson. At the time, he was an assistant coach at Stanford. And I'm a Division III GA in Southern Illinois, middle of nowhere, 7,000 people.
Hungry.
I'm looking for any opportunity to network. I just sent him a message. Hey coach, how you doing? My name is Josh Crutchfield. I'm a graduate assistant. I'd love to hear more about your story. By the way, I applied for your internship, and all I got was a like message. I was like, okay, like cool, whatever. 2 weeks later, I get an email saying I got in. I'm like, what? I get into that internship, and it's an 8-week long internship. Meet every other week, and We have people that come in that are athletic directors, Division I high major coaches, like Todd Golden. When he first got the job at Florida, he came in and spoke to us. Lindsay Gottlieb at USC, she came and spoke with us. The Marshall AD came and spoke with us, and we're all graduate assistants. But I'm looking at these other graduate assistants. I see University of Indiana, I see VCU, I see all these Division I schools, and I'm a Division III GA, and I'm like, I'm surrounded by where I want to be at. This is all like I'm looking. Lindsay Gottlieb, Coach Lindsay Gottlieb, coached in the NBA for the Cavs. Coach
Mm-hmm.
Todd Golden at the time. Fast forward a couple years later, he won a national championship. But
Damn
I
right.
virtually met him off a Zoom call, off of a Twitter message. So I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. So fast forward to my going into my second year. I complete my second year. I'm applying to a lot of positions, just putting my name out there, trying to find out where I could be at. I was applying for Division III head coaching jobs to assistant coaching jobs. I thought I knew it all. And God has a funny way of humbling you when you think you know it all. And so I had to take a step back. And I connected with Coach Eson again. I said, Coach, I'm struggling right now. I can't get my foot in the door. I can't get my foot in the door. I just got my master's. I can't get my foot in my door. And he said, just stay out there. Yeah, again for Division III. Hear me?
Nah, you broke up a little bit, Coach.
Hold on. What about now?
You good.
Okay.
You good.
He hit me up and he goes, how do you feel about becoming a graduate assistant for a Division I school in Dallas? And I'm like, shoot, I've always wanted to live in downtown Dallas. I say, what are you talking about? What is it? Like, where's that? SMU. And I was like, I would love to. What's the process? What do I got to do? And so Coach Chris Kreider hit me up, and I got to know him. And then and then Coach Warren, Cliff Warren, hit me up, started talking and getting to know me. And Coach Jocelyn Crow started hitting me up, started talking to me. Coach Jordan Glover started reaching out to me. And then I went through all the assistant coaches, just getting to know them. And then Coach Rob Lanier gave me a call. It's Big Boss. That's a legend right there. That's OG. He calls me and he goes, so I've heard you want to be a GA. I know you just got done. Tell me a little bit more about you. And mind you, this is a head coach that was an assistant coach for Tennessee, for Florida, for Texas. And he's asking me, what do I want to be? Where do I want to be at? That's a humbling moment for me because it's like you're willing to listen to me. You're willing to take your time out of the day to come talk to me. He
Mm-hmm.
asked me about my story. And he goes, what do you really want to do in this life? And I was like, oh, I really, I want to be a head coach for a Division II or Division III school. Because in my mind, Division I is cutthroat. It's cutthroat. I was like, I kind of want to stay away. And he goes, no, don't ever limit yourself. You can
Right.
still have transformational relationships even at this level. And right then and there, I was like, that's the leader I want to work for. I can go to war for him, 100%. And so I went through that process of becoming a GA, and they finally offered me the job. I jumped at it. I moved down there in 13 days, and I was ready to go. And we had 6 a.m. practices. But the moral of the story is that's how I got to SMU. I got to SMU because of a Twitter message to a Division I assistant coach that was willing just to take a chance on a Division III GA. Crazy.
Wow.
Crazy.
Shout out to Dallas, Texas. I've had some good nights in Dallas, Texas. So
Dallas, Texas is great.
With that being said, I've got to ask you this question.
Yeah.
All of your experience and SMU at that time with so many conference changes, what conference were you guys in?
So my first year at SMU, we were in the American Conference under Coach Rob Lanier. And then going to my second year, there was a change in leadership, and they hired Coach Andy Enfield.
Yeah.
And he came from USC, and then we
USC,
joined it,
yeah.
and then we joined the ACC. And so, shoot, it was real smoke in ACC.
Hey, I don't know Andy Enfield, but one thing I would say about him, he knows how to make some money. Shout out to Andy Enfield, man.
Coach Enfield was great. Coach Enfield was great. He was, he was very nice. He always said hello, and he knew how to run a team. Absolutely. And Coach Rob Lanier and Coach Andy Enfield were great. Those were two great leaders, phenomenal
So,
leaders.
with that being said, I have to ask you a question.
Yes.
In high school, you go from Orange County to D3 at Gordon.
Mm-hmm.
You played at Gordon, and you coached at it was a D3 level before you got
Yep.
to SMU.
Greenville. Yep. Greenville University.
So all of your experience at that time had been at the D3 level.
Yeah.
When you first got to SMU, because I know it's different, and I know even going from low D1, to high D1. It's a different feeling.
Mhm.
What was that like emotionally for you? Because you weren't a player, you were a coach, so you have to actually kind of feel like, I've been there before. Like, what
Oh,
was it like emotionally for you going from a D3 level to a and it is high D1, a high
yeah.
D1 level?
You think you know what work is
Mhm.
until you work for a guy like Coach Lanier.
Mhm.
That's real work. That's real. You in the gym every day. You start at 5 a.m. You don't, and you have clock outs at 6:30 p.m. And then you got to go to grad class.
Right,
You think you know what work is until you work for a phenomenal guy like Coach Lanier, and he's gonna push you so much and push you to a certain standard, but he's also gonna breathe life into you. And so
right,
that's where I really learned what real work was. It was my first year at SMU because one, it was a blessing to be there, to be in this atmosphere, to have a practice facility, to have a locker room that was state of the art, to have buffet style meals, to fly on a chartered plane. I was a Division III GA driving a bus to Iowa in a snowstorm,
oh, I know
and
it's a different vibe. It's
and
a
I jump
different
on a
vibe.
chartered plane, and I'm just like, God is amazing. God is real because there's no way. And so just being able to travel to different places, um, it was a blessing, and just to be able to know understand what real work was, and that set me up for a lot of success down the line for sure.
And with that being said, how much, people talk about relationships. Relationships are great,
Hmm.
but at the end of the day, you got to add value. That's where your
Absolutely,
relationships come in.
absolutely.
When you're adding value. How much, or when did you kind of figure out, man? It's not really relationships are part of it, but man, I got to add some value
Absolutely.
to these staffs. When
Yeah.
did that kind of? Because it seemed like you figured that out pretty
Yeah.
early.
Yeah. And I think the biggest thing that I learned my value my first year, and then I'll go into my second year at SMU, was Coach Lanier. He's like this. He's on go. He's ready to go section to section to section. So I'm like, okay, how can I make his job a little bit easier? And so
Right.
he likes to make the initial pass in every single drill. So what did I do? What did I learn every single day? I made sure I had two basketballs on me at all times, following Coach Lanier around every practice. And if you ask anybody at SMU, they're gonna be like, "Yep, Crutch had all the basketballs. He had all the basketballs." And people made fun of me for it. But I'd look at it as, how can I make his job easier? How can I
Right.
make his job easier? How can I add value to this relationship? I had two basketballs on me at all times, right behind them, because one day, early in the year, nobody had basketballs, and everyone, all the basketballs on the floor. And he goes, "We have two GAs. What we doing? What we doing? Coach,
Yeah.
assistant coaches. We have six assistant. What we doing?" Right? And so I had a chance to step up to the plate, and everybody had a role very fast.
You can't be too cool for school. So with that being said, how did the Benedict opportunity come up?
So, so originally when I was graduating from Greenville University, Coach Isan introduced me to Coach Dan Jackson, and we had like a very brief phone call, and but I didn't think of anything of it. And I don't even know if Coach Jackson remembers the phone call, but I we're very brief on because Coach Jackson just got the Talladega job, and so he was looking for an assistant at the time, and he went to a different direction, and I got blessed with the opportunity with SMU. Fast forward a couple years later, Coach Isan was the head coach at UAB. Coach Dan Jackson was his associate. Um,
Okay.
and so that's the connection that I got. And so this time around, when I graduated from SMU and this past May, and I was looking for a job, I was looking for an opportunity. He got the Benedict job. He got Coach Isan put me right in there, and then I had a phone call with him, and then I let him know all the people that I worked for, and Coach Rob Lanier was at Texas at the time, and he knew Coach Jackson very well. So Coach Jackson called Coach Lanier and asked him what type of guy I was. Coach Lanier spoke highly of me, which is a blessing, and the rest is history. And now I'm here, and it's phenomenal to be here. It's phenomenal to work for another great man like Coach Jackson because he breathes life into me, but at the same time holds me to that standard that I've been talking about, and then he pushes me even more and more and more and more and more, and then you just got to keep going. You got to keep rising to the occasion every time.
Well, man, Orange County,
Hmm.
Boston,
Yep.
Dallas,
Yep.
Shout
Greenville,
out to
Illinois,
Hotel Zaza, one of the best. Hotel Zaza, Dallas.
and Greenville, Illinois. Greenville, Illinois.
Greenville, Illinois. Now you're in Columbia, South Carolina. Tell
Yeah.
me about what your first recollection was, or your first impressions of Columbia.
I think it's right in the middle between Greenville, Illinois, and Dallas, Texas. I love Dallas, Texas because the pace of life is great. Greenville, Illinois is a small town. The closest big city is Edwardsville, which is right outside St. Louis. You got to drive 40 minutes for 40 miles for the nearest Chipotle. So it's right in between Greenville, Illinois, and Dallas. So my first impression coming to Columbia, South Carolina, is I was like, this is a good pace of life. I drive into the city. This is a good pace of life. Not sky rises or anything like that, like Dallas, but it's a good pace of life. It has everything I need. There's a Walmart, there's a Target, there's a Chipotle, there's a Kava, there's a Five, there's everything you need. All the grocery stores. There's a Publix, there's a Sam's Club, Costco, and I'm like, I can be comfortable here. And so I'm pulling into the city. And I'm like, okay, yeah, yeah, okay, that's where that is. Okay, that's where that is. I find Benedict. I drive past Benedict. I'm like, okay, cool. I drive to the football stadium to meet Coach Jackson and our AD. And I'm just driving in. I'm like, this is it's calm. It's cool. It's calm and cool. And mind you, I got here in the middle of summer before all the college students came in town. But it was calm, cool, and collected. I loved it. I loved it. I loved the first impression I got.
Yeah, and I just want to get your thoughts on this. I think that with the change in landscape of college basketball, and I know Benedict is in the SIAC. And we'll talk a little bit about the SIAC. And obviously, you haven't gone through it, so you don't know. Yeah. You haven't been through the wars of it, but there's a lot of talent in SIAC. But just talking about Division II in general, I think with the current landscape of college basketball, man, Division II is a gold mine.
Absolutely.
And Benedict is a gold mine because it gives people an opportunity to play, and just be honest, kids nowadays, they all think that they're going to get somewhere else. And, you might stay at Benedict 1 year, you might stay there 4 years. Really, also, and it's been like this forever. All scholarships are only a year. It's 1 year, 1 year, 1 year, 1 year. But I think that they're a gold mine, especially the resources that Benedict has. I know you guys got a great president. You got a great athletic director. You just talked about the coach. Talk a little bit about the resources there at Benedict and how excited you are about being part of that team.
I'm extremely excited just to be working for a coach like Coach Jackson and to be under an AD like Coach Johnson and to be under a president like the president that we have because they believe in athletics. They believe in also academics at the same time. And so yes, there's a standard for athletics, but there's also a standard for academics. And it goes like this. And that's how it should be. That's what college athletics should be. And so the vision of the school on top of the vision for athletics and on top of the vision of academics, it all meshes together. It's not separate categories. And so that's something that I really, really do appreciate. And I'm glad to be a part of. Because like I said, we're in a phenomenal location. We're in the heart of Columbia, South Carolina. It's a great recruiting place. And I'm just extremely excited just to be part of it.
Well, the one thing I love about Benedict, I've always appreciated about it is I'm just gonna be honest. They got some soul in Benedict, man. It just you go to a football game, it's got some soul in it, and that doesn't necessarily, and that's no disrespect to any other schools who don't have soul. With that being said, what's kind of not just but the coaching staff? How important is it for you guys to get out in the community? Not necessarily just get out, with all the coaches and all that, but also get out in the community and kind of know the community. That doesn't mean that you have to recruit only guys from Columbia and only guys from South Carolina, because that would be stupid to do that. That would be stupid. But just being a part of the community, how important is it for you? And, coming on this show is one part of it, or coming on this platform is one part of it. How important is it for you just to kind of be part of the community of in Columbia, but also the greater South Carolina community, and being a face, at events there in Columbia, events in South Carolina, but also in the Southeastern region?
Yeah, I think just being able to meet people and ask them
Yeah.
what they do and ask them where they're from. What's their favorite place? What's your favorite restaurant that you recommend? And just
Yeah.
building relations with the community is extremely important because we want support, yes, from our campus, but also support from the neighborhoods, from the
Right.
nearby communities. Because we don't want Benedict just to be this closed off circle. We want to be able to be like, okay, hey, we have somebody that we can go volunteer with, or hey, we have somebody at this credit union that that wants to teach our guys financial literacy. We have these people over at this food spot where we can come help out. And it's extremely important, not just for Benedict as a campus, but also for our guys to learn the importance of relationships, right? We really want to breathe life into our guys to understand that, hey, basketball eventually will end, but it's about your relationships and how you carry yourself. That's what really matters. And so that's a great example of why it's important to build community relationships, because yes, we're going to support you, and yes, everyone wants to come and support Benedict, but we as a staff and as a program really want to support the communities nearby.
You know what, Coach, man, I'm so happy you said that. You talked about financial literacy. You got your head on your shoulders the right way, and you're gonna be a really good recruiter because you're looking at the bigger picture, and within we all want to hoop and all that, but
Absolutely.
at some point that pin goes on the ball and
Yeah.
that ball deflates, and
Yeah.
basketball is no longer the driving force in terms of you being a player.
Most
How
definitely.
important is it for you, kind of as a staff, you individually, but also as a staff, to make sure that, even though the kids might not be well rounded at 16, 17, nobody is, I
Mhm.
definitely wasn't. I'm probably not now. But 16, 17, how important is it for you to kind of be able to see potential in kids at 16 and 17 and get them at 21, 22, get them, to the finish line. And maybe it might not even be athletically,
Mhm.
but just socially.
Academically, yeah, and socially. So I'll use this analogy, right? In high school, you have these blinders on where you only see this, right?
Right.
And then as your experiences kind of grow, you start to kind of look around and say, oh, wow, there's a lot of other spaces. So us as a staff, it's our job to be able to see those kids with blinders that want to be part of change, that want
Right.
and need discipline and crave that. It's our job to examine that and say, okay, hey, this is the reason why we're making you do push-ups when you're sagging. Hey, this is why you're doing push-ups if you slip up and cuss. This is why it's our job to see the potential, but also hold them accountable, right? And when it comes to recruiting high school kids and stuff like that, is how you carry yourself off the court is just as important as on the court. And I mean, we went to a high school the other day just to come introduce ourselves, and we just asked the kids how they're doing. How are you doing? What are you interested in? What do you want to do long term?
Right.
Right? It's because these are the questions that matter the most. Because something that we really pinpoint in our as staff in our program is a 4 for 40, right? In these 4 years, we're gonna pump all this stuff into you, whether that's resume workshop, how you carry yourself, introductions, handshakes, eye contact, financial literacy that we talked about. We're gonna pump all these different IVs into you. And in 40 years, that's what's really going to matter. The wins and losses, you might forget about some of these things. But 40 years from now, who are you as a husband? Who are you as a father? Right? These things are so important that often get skipped over because of short-term gratification in the culture that we have or that we're in.
Coach, man, you got me ready to play for you right now. Because, we do a lot of brand ambassadors here on Lost Letterman.
Mm.
And one thing I'm big on, or we're big on, I don't even know what you would call it, but when I see somebody, when I see a prospective student athlete, the first thing I think of, and these with my own kids, the same thing. I lean into this.
Yeah.
Um, what's your eye contact?
Hmm.
Especially if you're a point guard. Like, what's your eye contact?
Hmm.
Like, if you're a coach and you're looking at kids, I gotta be able to see you looking in my eyes
Yeah.
and us having a conversation. So talk
Yes.
as like the baseline, and then we can kind of go from there.
Yeah.
Um, what are some of the things you look for outside of hooping that kind of can take a prospective student athlete from on the borderline to I need to give him an offer?
I think the biggest thing is I'm gonna find out everything I can about you. I'm gonna go through your social medias. I'm gonna go through your highlights on Instagram. I'm gonna go to your tag photos. Who you hanging out with? Because if you hanging out with some dudes that you're not supposed to be hanging out with, I don't want to bring that into this program. Because then my head coach is gonna look at me and say, "Who did you bring in here?" Mm-mm. So I look at everything, right? I look at how I call. I want to get to know your principals. I want to get to know your teachers, because those are the people that are around you every day. You can put on a front with me for 15, 20 minutes, even though I'm pretty good at finding out who you are. But these teachers are the ones that are teaching you every day. Are you respectful to your teachers? Do you go into your class late? Are you on your phone? Do you have an AirPod in, one AirPod in, one AirPod out? These are the things that we want to get to know. Do you have a girlfriend? Are you respectful? All these other aspects of life, I want to know, especially when it comes to
Mm.
recruiting, because that's gonna be able to tell me everything I need to know. Your coaches are gonna vouch for you every single time, and that's their job. They're supposed to, because they care about you. They want you to succeed. But it's my job to vet everything. So I'm gonna look at everything. Everything in social media is no joke. I can find out everything I need to know about a kid through social media. It's no joke.
Yeah, so it sounds like you're trying to get that consistency. Well, we've always said on this side of the aisle, man, the
Mhm.
best talent or the hardest talent is consistency. Being able to
Mhm.
do something
That's a good
consistently
one. Yeah, yeah, that's a good one.
every every day, man. But man, much respect to you, coach. And one thing, as we get you out of here, I think one of the obviously your hoops, but one of the things that's probably going to help you the most is your travels, man. Again, Orange County, like all the places you've been, man, you can really relate to a lot of different scenes. And I think
Yeah,
a lot
yeah,
of the coaches probably cannot relate to it, especially at a young age, because it takes a certain type of person to go from the OC to the bean at such an early age, and obviously have all the successes you've had, even beyond that, man. But much respect to you, and we will definitely be following and supporting the Benedict College Tigers not only this year, but all the many years to come. But then, man, thanks for joining Lost Letterman this evening.
I appreciate you even want to get to know me. It means a lot, and I'm excited to be part of Benedict College, and I'd love for anybody to come out and support and introduce themselves. If you see me anywhere, just come up and introduce yourself, because I would love to get to know the people in this community. I would love it.
Oh, we're gonna be there.